better to be safer than sorry. Because the status quo increases the murder rate, child mortality, and too many mentally unstable people have gotten guns and done horrific things with them, my partner and I stand in affirmation of the resolution. Resolved that the United States federal government should significantly increase gun restrictions on gun sales and purchasing in urban areas. To reiterate the terms in today's debate, we define significantly, as defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary, to a significant degree and having or likely to have a major effect. Important. In this case, this means that we, the affirmative, are advocating for an important increase in gun restriction sales and purchasing. We emphasize that this does not necessarily include a total prohibition of gun sales or the right to bear arms. In order to protect its people, the government must put some restrictions of the rights of its citizens as part of its social contract. The United States Census Bureau defines an urban area as core census block groups, or blocks that have a population density of at least 1,000 people per square mile, and surrounding census blocks that have an overall density of at least 500 people per square mile. It is most important to increase restriction in urban areas because the majority of gun-related violence and innocent deaths occur there. Ian and I propose the following plan to change the status quo of restriction of gun sales and purchasing. It is both reasonable, non-invasive to those who wish to use guns for recreational purposes, easy to enforce, practical, and most importantly of all, safer. According to the Christian Science Monitor on January 12, 2011, no significant national gun control legislation has passed since 1994, when both the background check and assault weapons ban went into effect. The article further elaborates. The gun lobby paints those who support reasonable gun restrictions as simply anti-gun, come to take away constitutionally protected firearms. But since then, the gun lobby has had the upper hand. The assault weapons ban has been allowed to expire. Nationwide, guns are allowed in new places, on Amtrak trains, and in national parks. Meanwhile, the gun control group is on the defensive. They're fighting to preserve the status quo and to prevent new inroads in the gun lobby. For instance, bringing concealed weapons to college campuses, as proposed in Arizona, taverns, and even workplaces. 30,000 people are killed a year by guns, not including the countless injuries. We cannot allow this to go on any longer when we can enforce a way to stop thousands of innocent deaths a year. With our new plan, a buyer must have a coherent, logical reason to purchase a gun, such as a personal, recreational, or occupational use. They must go through a government-mandated eligibility exam, including a more rigorous background check than before, which will be overseen by the local and state facilities for more accuracy, followed by a background mental exam. Those with any history of being mentally unstable or previous record of unlawful violence or drug abuse will be prevented from purchasing a gun. This plan is not intended to remove the right to bear arms, just to make sure that they do not fall into the hands of people who will use them for horrible purposes. The addition of the mental exams will significantly increase the restrictions of guns falling into the wrong hands for people like Loeffner that will use them for bad reasons. While a landmark Supreme Court ruling in 2008 established an individual's right to bear arms, it did leave the door open for regulation. Goddard, a survivor of the Arizona shooting, explains the practicality and need for this plan. He straddles two worlds. He has exercised his right to bear arms many times, passing basic rifle marksmanship in the Army ROTC, hunting, and target shooting at the range. But now he works for a top gun control advocacy group. In a phone interview, the young Goddard pointed to the opportunity for a new generation to learn the steps that can be taken to restrict access to guns that won't in any way prohibit law-abiding citizens from owning firearms. When it comes to buying guns, he's amazed at how easy it is. It's like buying a sofa, he says. Mr. Loeffner, for instance, passed a background check despite his history of mental problems and drug abuse. He then went on to kill 6 people at the Arizona shooting. In addition, our plan will put the assault weapons ban back into place. This would have prevented Arizona suspect Jared Lee Loeffner from buying gun clips that could fire so many rounds at once. This would have resulted in him hitting fewer people, as opposed to 20. A limit of 10 rounds per gun clip would ensure even further precautions if guns do fall into the wrong hands and are used for violent purposes. Our plan to increase the mental stability checks before buying a gun would significantly increase both the restrictions on gun sales, but more importantly, the safety of our society. People such as Loeffner, who had a history of drug abuse, and people such as Sung-Hee Cho from the Virginia Tech shooting would be unable to get a gun. And because of that, they would be unable to kill innocent people. The effects of our plan are simple: a safer society, Right now, there are thousands of people dying each year, innocent children lost, and mentally unstable people acquiring guns at their ease. Of 306 homicides in Philadelphia in 2010, 244 of them were committed using firearms. 15,000 kids are severely injured by guns each year, and an extra 3,000 are killed. 0 deaths in Japan. Only 3 in Britain. Only 13 in Britain. However, in the U.S., 2,405 Americans have been shot dead since the Arizona shooting. We need to and can do something about this. The status quo the negative is offering is condoning innocent deaths. The affirmative plan will mitigate this injustice to society. By keeping guns out of the hands who will use it to harm others and putting into place significantly more restrictive policies to prevent this violence, the deaths caused by guns will be significantly reduced. Deaths, child mortality will be reduced, and mentally unstable people will be unable to obtain guns. As Goddard notes, I don't think our generation understands that there are things we can do to head off tragedies such as the Virginia Tech and Arizona shooting. But we can do something about these tragedies. We can be better safe than sorry. We can protect the innocent. Vote for our future. Vote affirmative.